You missed it. So that was my fault, right? Chris was trying to because you did it very successfully the last time to kind of puff a smoke.
I was trying to do a pre-credits bit like we always do, or a pre-countdown bit, but it's like, so right before the broadcast went live, I was like, a big plume of smoke came out of my mouth, and then it perfectly faded away, and then the broadcast started.
because even though you hit start broadcast, it always does this kind of, it's going to take a wee.
It's got to talk to the server and stuff. It's got
absolutely. They're starting the broadcast. Doesn't care that your lungs are burning.
Wow, what a total waste.
Absolutely.
I'll have to think of something for next week. Oh, speaking of next week, I am going to be, again, for the first time in many years, a dungeon master in Dungeons and Dragons, because the place that I go to, Mox in the Hole in Edinburgh, it's great. If you fancy some Dungeons and Dragons, they run games there every Wednesday. Shameless plugging, but they have 3 campaigns on at the moment, and the campaign I'm in has just hit 6 or 7 players, and I think 7 players, and another campaign has just hit 6 players. And more than 6 is probably the cutoff point for like more than that, and you're waiting 45 minutes to an hour for like a turn in combat. So they want somebody else to DM, and I've DM before, so I was like, fuck it, I guess I'll do this.
Throwing yourself in there, that's awesome.
Yeah, so going to be a dungeon master once again, while also planning another campaign. I think I might use a watered down version of the campaign that I'm planning.
All right, good call. The online one.
Yeah, like a wee test run, I think.
That's a good shout. Yeah. Obviously, just we've mentioned Dimension 20 before, because you got me into that in a big way, and of course there's 6 of them, because I'm watching Fantasy High right now, and there's 6 of them, and there are sometimes when they're doing the rounds, and then you just you almost forget. Suddenly it's like it's your right for me. All right, I haven't seen him in about 40 minutes.
Yeah, exactly, and that's with 6 people. The biggest group I've ever done was 7, and it was ridiculous. Like, because one of the things, the guy the GM of Dimension 20, Brennan Lee Mulligan, does a YouTube series called Adventuring Party Office Time or something like that. Anyway, and it's basically where dungeon masters ask him questions about aspects of running games, which is very useful if you're planning on running a game. And one of the things he's saying is, like, the more people you have, the less control you have over everything as a GA. Like, if you have a 10-person campaign, it's just like, good luck putting the spotlight on anyone, and good luck like trying to keep people's focus on what's actually happening. So,
well, I will say again, I've mentioned Dimension 20 before, and I hope that they'd plug us back as if that would ever happen.
Don't know we exist.
Check it out. Check it out. It's really good. A few more viewers than us. But his control over that whole situation is phenomenal.
Yeah, even on they have a season. They did most of their stuff's edited quite heavily, but they did a season. They did a couple of seasons of just live streams, which we should get in on if we had 5 more people. But
absolutely,
yeah. But they. Even the live shows, his way of sort of wrangling people back in is pretty good. Although they do have a system for Christmas, they bought him sugar dice, and anytime someone rolls in that 20 in a situation where he doesn't want that to happen, they make him eat his dice.
I do love it when a nat 20 appears, because he gets so genuinely excited about it.
Yeah, or in the season I'm watching right now, someone rolled a nat 20 and he just put his head in his hands and went, "I'm ruined. I'm ruined. This has ruined everything. And I need to come up with a whole new story."
It is wonderful. If anyone, I mean, it puts us to shame. Well, I mean, obviously you said heavily edited. I was going to say that they go off in much less in the way of tangents than we do, but of course we're not edited.
No, we don't have any
Yeah.
editing at all. Although I have to say, even in their live version, they although there was one. Wait, no, I'm trying to remember. I think no, there have been some tangents, mainly Emily Axford driven tangents in the live one, where Brennan's just like trying to keep his shit together.
I do love it. It's just and I've started to just watch more and more and more. And I was like, it was a real kind of slow burn for me, and I'm just like, I need to just I'm starting to rattle through it now. You'd think it would make me a wee bit tighter and better at this, but it hasn't. If anything, I think it's worse.
Different systems. We play by different rules.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
I
actually,
mean, the irony is that the rules we work to, i.e. the kind of game book format, should have an element of kind of rigidity. That, but we still somehow seem to go, what's happening?
I was thinking about this. If we ever did run like a live streamed actual play, like D&D campaign, the wild tangents that show would go on would be
absolutely
incredible. I shudder to think, because I remember being a teenager playing. I've been playing it since I was like 15, and I remember as a teenager, like the shenanigans you get up to in the games are like just wild compared to the sort of very mild shenanigans that you'll get like from a group that you like randomly meet up with as an adult. It's like quite it's quite on the rule book. Everything's proceeds pretty as usual, very few shenanigans, and I was the main causer of shenanigans, and it resulted in my death. Which we've talked about on the stream before, but yes. I got killed by a Jotun. But
I will say as well that see when you're younger, and especially when you're talking about kind of going off in tangents and stuff and shenanigans as well, and just basically there's stuff that you'll say to your friends you wouldn't consider saying to complete strangers, and it doesn't mean that.
And also your pals will egg you on way past when a stranger's
and suddenly by today's standards you're committing the equivalent of a hate crime.
Really, really awful. Like, well, for us, it was always sort of the worst kind of violence would be perpetrated, but it would start off as a joke, and then someone would act on it, and then you're not gonna leave them hanging, so you have to back them up. And suddenly things have gone south horribly.
Dungeons and Dragons, home of honors.
Do you know, I'm actually scanning my brain for a story that I could tell on stream, and I can't think of one. Like, I can't think of one that, like, I can think of loads of stories, but none of them I would be comfortable with being broadcast just because of how horrible the situation ended up. Nothing like prejudice or anything like that, but just horrendous acts of grisly violence. Just really awful. So the best summary I can come up for it was we had a Shadowrun team. I played a guy who was based on, Team Fortress 2, the shooter. There's a character in it, the Pyro, and I just wanted to play a flamethrower guy, and so I had him like an asbestos lined suit and couldn't speak because of just like the Pyro, and the name that we ended up after 2 sessions we named our team, which was just what was it? Team Scorched Earth. It's just desolation in our wake. And I'm playing in a campaign at the moment that I think is starting to come to a close, but I purposefully picked, so like the party's composed of a vampire, a really simple, like huge, the archetype of like the dumb guy that's massive, but he has like a demon in his head. This wasn't something he asked for. This is something that happened to him in the course of the story, where basically he loses shit. and then the other one's sort of like a mute person that like manipulates like sand and really does. So my initial idea for a character that would fit into that setting was a serial killer, but I decided instead to go for an innocent 16-year-old wee lizard boy that's like half the size of everyone else, and all I do is role play the horror that he experiences daily as he watches them like literally murder people in the street and eat them. Like they are eating people, and I just have him like every night, like, do you know Full Metal Jacket, you know, where he's just like this little fucking lizard just can't cope. And I thought that's funner to play. It's funner to play that than it is to join in with the carnage. Like, it's fun to join in with the carnage, but it is funner just to see them bounce off him just freaking out. Like it's got to the point like they're like giving him morphine and stuff to like calm him down. Oh, horrible stuff.
While you've been talking, I've noticed that for some reason one of my eyes looks a lot lower than the other one, and I'm wondering if I've had a stroke or something.
Wait, what can you
How is that?
now?
Do you see that?
You know, is that not what Tom York? Tom York has that, where his one eye is like a bit lower than the other.
Yeah, I don't think it's something that's normally the case, but I've for some reason noticed it today. Maybe
my nose is just over. It's over that way.
I do look like kind of like Sloth from the Goonies today, and I'm not sure what's happened there. What is that an optical illusion, or
I don't know. Maybe you
it doesn't look right, does it?
You just maybe feeling half depressed today, or
I'm fully depressed today.
It's half his face.
Maybe I'm 1.5 depressed, and then this is the kind of 50% on top.
In order for you to be 1.5 depressed, that would mean that full depressed would have to be 3.
Why doesn't look right? That doesn't look right.
Just push it back up.
I'm worried. Oh, wrong one. See, we've already managed to do that.
I did that with my nose as well. My nose points that way, and I was pointing this way.
I don't want to spend whole. If there's any doctors watching, do I need to worry about this?
John, there are no doctors watching. I hate to break it to you.
And if they are, I don't know if I would trust you as a doctor.
I wouldn't trust your judgment.
I wouldn't even.
I'd get a second opinion. A whole if we had a
just gonna
do guidelines to be like, and then like an animation where it just fixes it.
Yeah. I did actually when you go into StreamYard, which kind of hosts this and posts out everything, it does actually give you the tip, and it says, why don't you say hello to fans that will watch afterwards?
Yeah.
Which it gives me that tip every time, and I never do it. But now's an opportunity to say, if you are watching this and it's not live, still feel free to if you've got any opinions or any comments on what we will say hashtag John's Gommy Eye, then just give us. I don't. You know, maybe we should just start the quest because I don't want to think too much.
Yeah, you don't want to linger on this because you'll not get through the week without thinking about it again.
I know, I'm worried it's like an aneurysm or something. Something's just popped.
Something's just pushing it down. There's something growing back there that's pushing it down. Yeah, that's
just pushing through.
We'll proceed with this, and eventually the top of your head will start to split, and another eye will pop out, and that one will level back up. And every week we'll come back, and you'll have another eye.
And I'm evolving through the
through the course.
And then just when I'm reading stuff out, imagine if I did reach this kind of high evolutionary point, and I was still doing this.
Coming up with alternate plot lines as you go.
Absolutely. And I'm asking you what you're going to do, and then I just suddenly say, Chris, I already know what you're going to do because I can see the future now.
I've seen it. He's from the future.
Exactly.
His dog's barking.
As you get closer, it looks better. It's just as you get further away, it's like an optical illusion. So up close, right? Up close is fine, and then as you kind of move away, this eye goes.
It just starts to drift away. Gets away from you.
That's
It'd be funny if it was related to your focus. Like the more you focus, the leveler your eye got, and then the more you sort of got sleepy towards the end of the day, it just drifted all the way down, and then it comes out your mouth.
It's kind of comes out my mouth. I will say we were talking a couple of days ago, kind of on WhatsApp about my heart.
Yes, yeah.
Remember? Well, do you know, yesterday I think it was heat related. For the first time in ages, I had to use my kind of spray. You've got a spray that if you get chest pain.
Is it nitroglycerin?
Yes. So that's the one.
I used to work in a pharmacy.
The side effect is that it gives you the most horrific instant headache, like someone's just
Really?
Yeah. Right. So yesterday, and I don't know if it was heat related because I did that thing where, you know, the kids are off school right now. Scott's usually kind of after school, but Morgan is just being a teenager and kind of bit. And I said, we're going to the park. And I dragged him out to the park, and we did this kind of circular, you know, and nearly 30 degrees heat. Did this kind of 5K walk around the park. And I was just like, and I just went, I was like that. And then I got home, and then I just was sitting there, and I just suddenly felt like this real kind of in my chest. And what happens is you're supposed to spray and then wait 5 minutes. And if it's still kind of the pain's still there, you do it again. And if it doesn't work the second time, I'm supposed to phone an ambulance.
Holy fuck. In case you're having a wee heart attack.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I did the kind of spray thing yesterday, and it was like somebody went, fuck yeah. Right. And so then Morgan and our pal kind of our pal Catrian was round, and they walked into the living room, and they're trying to talk to you about stuff, and I'm like kind of going, it's like somebody just fucking punched you.
Are you sure that's not when your eyes started to go down?
It could have been, but it was ironically this side, that the eye that I think looks okay is where the kind of, is it? No, it was this eye. No, that's I can't. Do you know the whole mirror? Because I'm having a stroke right now. The whole mirror, everything.
Yeah, it's affecting.
So I was really kind of going sort of thing.
And stroke's taking my mind off my heart attack.
Absolutely. So that it was really weird that I don't really talk much about the kind of heart attack stuff unless I'm trying to garner sympathy from people. and then that happened, and honestly, it was and it's the first time I've used it in so long. To the point that I went, where's my spray? Start to free kicks. I couldn't find my spray.
Well, I was interested at what the percentage of nitroglycerin in that is, because as I'm sure our intelligent viewers are aware, nitroglycerin is the precursor to dynamite. You add wood pulp and sawdust to that, and you've got yourself dynamite. My eye, funnily enough, talking about eyes, has decided to just sting like mad. But nitroglycerin, I remember, funnily enough, going back to that session where I was considering playing the serial killer, the sort of ability that I was supposed to give him was he could like make explosions happen, and I had to come up with sort of, they're called trappings in this game, Savage Worlds. You have to come up with like ideas for why.
10 minutes of in jokes that nobody else got. Just gonna go, it's like, it's like a lizard to sandpaper. And then have Brian just sitting in the audience gutting himself.
Oh, yeah, they are nice.
I really enjoyed the show. Whereas if we got really big, people kind of go, I don't like what you did, or they'd have massive arguments, kind of going, well, do you remember when Chris did this? And then they'd be like this massive kind of. So I mean, that's
in a way we're saved. We're
saved by our lack of popularity. Story of my life. I mean, my lack of popularity is pretty much what saved my virginity for longer than it should have.
The power of God and anime on my side.
That's interesting.
That did nothing to my hair. It's sitting in a weird way, and I'm trying to get it out. But this is doing nothing.
Every time I come on here, I just realise how close I am to needing another haircut, and it seems my hair grows really quickly.
It's same,
to the point that a few years ago I did the Brave the Shave, and I was completely bald, and I made a joke to one of the people that was watching. I had to have a full head of hair again for the next month, and they didn't believe me. It just it started to grow. It started to grow as I was collecting the donation money. Like,
you could feel it. It was visibly growing. Do you know what was I going to say? Do you know, it's speaking of hair, it's absolutely boiling. Obviously, I mean, in Scotland it's not so bad. It's 30 degrees. Well, it was 30 degrees in Edinburgh when I was getting the bus home, and it's 40 or up into the probably high 40s down in Spain and stuff. But in Edinburgh at 30 above zero, on the bus, all I could smell was people's hairspray and wax melting. It just smelled like coconut and cheap perfume. Edinburgh at 30 degrees.
Well, Glasgow just smells of pish. Irrespective of the temperature.
Do you know, Glasgow is one of those cities, a bit like Manchester, where half the city smells of piss and the other half of the city smells of weed, and there's almost no in between. It's one or the other.
Well, I was again. I was at the garage. Not the club. I was putting petrol. I was putting petrol in the car, and I went to the forecourt to pay. And as I was paying, it was about 4 a.m, right? So, I was paying, and it smelled of pish just there, and it's really well lit.
Yeah.
Right? It's really the last place you'd go for a sneaky pish.
Yeah. What do you think phone boxes are for?
Absolutely, I know exactly. That's it. But yeah. So I was there, and I was standing kind of going, this reeks of pish. And I was thinking, it's a forecourt, right? So it's 4 a.m, right? It's well lit. It's well lit. So I don't think the time matters. I think if I went right now, the only reason that I'm mentioning that it was 4 a.m. was the fact that I had to use the night service. As opposed to
right. The wee window.
So I was at the wee window, and it was reeking of pish. And I was thinking, so it's well lit, and there's somebody there 24 hours a day, and it just smells of pish there. Unless it was the guy that's serving me sneaks out and urinates on the wall, right?
It's one hell of a power move, because the window only goes down to sort of your waist. So you could in theory, you could just piss while you're at the counter. Maybe that's how you conceal it. The only time that they won't see you is whenever they're serving you.
Just, would you like a receipt, son? You're starting to shake it.
It's just like, aye. Print us another one, though. Give him a minute.
Absolutely. But so well lit. I think there's cameras on you. There's always somebody there. And also, and this is the biggie, right? I associate pishing outdoors, right? Not always. If you're going on a hike, it's not the case. But I associate pishing outdoors with being pissed.
Yeah.
Right, really. But the only people that should be at that forecourt are driving cars.
So it's got to be like somebody needs a piss and they're in the car and they're wasted and they've got to pull into the car. It's like, what's the only time I could conceal this? It reminds me of a story of a guy I used to go to school with who pulled into a garage forecourt in his car, wasted, and got one of those, do you know, the sort of little party cups, not the big ones, the ones for like kids' parties, the small cups.
Okay. Yep.
He opened the door of his car, he puked into the cup, then he threw the cup into the forecourt. Why didn't you just puke into the forecourt? Why did you need the extra step of puking into the wee cup?
That's the exact same kind of logic behind me wondering why people still use travel agents. It's just an unnecessary middleman.
Yeah, absolutely. There was no need for anyone to go into a travel agent. They're redundant. And there's also no need to puke into a cup before you throw that cup.
If there are any doctors watching what's going on with my eyes, any reason why one of my eyes is suddenly a lot lower than it usually is?
Maybe it's in the book.
Maybe we'll find out together. Maybe this has been like a really bizarre in-joke.
A really elaborate setup.
And I just go.
But there has to be like a sickening crunch.
And then Mr. I still don't know whether I should be worried about it or not.
I think. All right. Well, I'll see you later. I think definitely don't worry about it. I mean, I know that doesn't help. I wouldn't worry about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I imagine it's one of these situations where worrying about it from apologies to anyone that's just suddenly seen my chicken legs. I never wear shorts.
I'm wearing shorts as well, just because. I mean, I wore jeans to work and then brought shorts with me, and then immediately had to change. It's just too much. It's awful.
Yeah, it's just horrid.
Although, I mean, I love being out in the sun, but I hate sitting in an office during it.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Well, I'm off work this week, so.
Oof, that is excellent. I was off work last week, but unfortunately spent the entire week indoors.
Yeah, I know that's unfortunate. That's a shame. Your poor mum.
I know. I mean, we did go on walks because you're allowed to go on walks now. You know, if you've got it, you just got to stay away from people.
Oh, fair, I know that.
We went to walk up Stockbridge, and she was like, "Oh, this is the most heartbreaking part of the whole story." We'll start the quest after this. She's like, "Oh, there's a pub up here called the Antiquarian or something, and it's. I used to go there 30 years ago with my pals from the running club, and we walk up Stockbridge, and I shit you not, I'm like, holy fuck, there's a pub called the Antiquarian," and she's like, "No way." When we looked, and there was a pub quiz starting in 20 minutes.
Oh no!
We couldn't go in. She was near in tears, like, "Oh my god, I want to go in.
You know, be worse.
I haven't been in 30 years." I'm like, we gotta go home, Mum. I'm sorry.
Imagine if she looked in the window and all of her friends were there.
Yeah, all the pals from the running club are there. They're all sitting there. They look almost the same. They're all like, come in, Sandy, come in." And she's like, "I can't."
and then somebody on the jukebox just starts to play "Baby It's Cold Outside."
Even though in the middle of summer,
even though it's the middle of summer, it's July. We're about to hit a heat wave, and she's probably a bit of a temperature for the COVID, and suddenly she's like, I remember years ago.
The worst bit about that as well, apart from everything I just said, was that was the point at which she was feeling completely fine at that point. She just still was testing positive, but she wasn't sick anymore. Hence how we managed to walk to Stockbridge, because that's quite a big walk from where I am.
That's absolutely tragic.
Yeah, heartbreaking.
Yeah, if that was my mum, I'd find it hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit.
Yeah.
but I could see her face. It was too sad.
The difference between you and I is you're going, I really felt for mum. And I would actually, if that was happening and my mum was looking at, I'd be beside mum, kind of
going, you run in and grab a pint.
I'd actually
just drink it through the window at her.
I'll be 5 minutes.
I'm only going to get 2 more rounds.
Exactly. And then start talking to all our pals for the running club.
Introduce myself to them and be like, "Don't even mention her."
You look familiar, son.
Oh, I get that a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure. Is your mum from around here? No.
No. She's from Ireland.
My mum's dead.
She died of heartbreak out in the steps.
She's at the window going,
frozen to the glass somehow in the middle of summer.
Baby, it's cold. I'm not sure I can even sing that.
We can't license that. We can't license anything. We couldn't license a freaking 2-second clip of anything.
The good thing about that is that whenever I do sing, there's so little in the way of melody that they would never catch it.
Yeah, it has to be purposefully as off-key as possible.
Yeah.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. Ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. There you go. That's my nod to Shrek and Smash Mouth.
It's beautiful. Let's start.
Let's do it. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Rip roaring.
Uh,
Just try and keep me away from it.
So basically, you've been stopped by these aliens that basically want to euthanize you. So you explain
Clapham
you're
and
from another
Irons.
planet.
I'm not really far back enough. Clapham and Irons.
Clapham and Irons. You explain that you're from another planet and therefore know nothing about their curfew laws, and they say we don't know what iron is.
Oh, it's
And
the
you go,
only metal that can be. It's the rarest metal that can be produced by any star. You really
Why
should know.
why would we make handcuffs out of such a much sought after commodity?
I look down and the handcuffs are made out of cheese string.
We also don't call it iron, we call it Zanglax. Because the chances of two alien worlds both calling it iron are probably pretty slim. Let's not get into the philosophical debate behind it. But
Well, then how do we get iron brew? It's called Zanglax brew.
Exactly. They changed the word iron to Zanglax, but they still call it brew.
Right.
Right,
Do you remember? No, one more tangent. I'm sorry, but one more. I'm really sorry. Do you remember an advert years ago for Iron Brew? Years ago now, probably 20 years ago, and it was a kid, no, a teenager, and he had a can of Iron Brew, and his granda goes, "Son, what are you drinking there?" And he goes, "Iron Brew," exactly like that, and he goes, "Can I have some of that?" And he passes him, and the granda pulls his teeth out and goes. And he goes to pass him it back, and the boy goes, "No, you're all right. You finish it." And the granda's just like, ah.
Yeah, I do remember.
Nobody remembers that. Only me and my brother. You're the only person I found that remembers.
I do remember it, and I'll go looking for it on YouTube after this. Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Yep, I do remember it.
If you find that, send me it because I'm going to send it to my brother.
I will do.
Right, okay, let's start. Sorry, that was the last tangent. I promise.
That was that classic Zanglax brew advert.
What are you scorping there, Granda? It's the other way around. Scorping is their word for drinking.
Yeah. I will. Just again. I was talking to my pal today, and I said to her, "Do you remember? I started singing. The red car and the blue car had the race from the Milky Way advert. Do you remember years ago?" Yeah. And I said to her, "Do you remember that?" And she said, "No." And I went, "You're kidding on." And I talked about it for 5 minutes, and she went, "No, of course I remember it. I just wanted to see how long you."
That's brilliant. I'm doing that next time someone asks me something I definitely remember. I'm going to be like, "No, explain it to me," and just get them to explain it to me like 20 times.
It's the main reason that I think I go off in so many kind of tangents is the fact that I'm so used to just being fucking emotionally bullied by this girl. And I should know by now that we've never had a straightforward conversation in our life. And I do love her dearly for it. However,
it has affected your mental health.
It has affected my ability to have a straightforward conversation. And do you know, even just and there's times when I'm in Teams meetings and work, and I think people must think I get paid by the fucking word.
I'm the opposite. Same work. And well, to be fair, I am admin, so I am taking minutes. So I'm usually muted and typing like mad.
I'm ridiculous. There's actually times when I'm talking, and of course, and I don't know if it's because of like kind of doing comedy and stuff, and this, but like I consider this to be comedy as well, Chris. I think we have quite a laugh doing this, and hopefully we're entertaining other people.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's definitely not fucking hardcore role play, is it?
No, for sure. So I'm so used to that, and having a wee bit of kind of, you know. I use my hands. I've always used my hands quite a lot, but I think I use that a lot more since I've been kind of doing kind of online stuff. And that's the same in Teams meetings. There's times when I'm just talking, and I'm going, "Well, one of the things," and then I'm realizing, going, "You look like a wanker." You know, when you can see yourself. That's the thing when you're normally in meetings face to face, you're probably just as much an arsehole, but you can't actually see it. But when you're actually at a Teams meeting and you see yourself, and you go.
I've always wanted in a like a Teams meeting. Well, we use WebEx, but whatever. In a WebEx meeting, I've always wanted to just try and find the moment. You know, when you can see people and they're you can tell they're like looking between people, and they're like their eyes are like going around the screen like that. Always wanted to try and get it, time it just right, so that only one person sees me go, or like.
I've got last team story, right? And I'm assuming WebEx is the same. See, sometimes if you're like presenting, you share your screen.
Yeah.
So I've been in a situation with there's somebody that's done it, and I actually think that they're friends with me on Facebook, so I'm not going to name their name. Hopefully they won't be watching, but they were presenting, right, and then of course there's different ways you can actually present the document, or you can just show your screen.
Yeah.
Like,
You always present the document. You never want to just share
always
the
present the document, show your screen. This individual, I'm not even going to specify gender, right? This
I think
individual, this
I think I
this
can guess the gender, but go on.
the individual was presenting, and then stopped presenting, and basically their screen now was everybody that's on the kind of Teams call. So,
Uh-huh.
there was about 8 of us, and we're all kind of on there. And he doesn't. She they all right. He
And so Daniel, oh shit.
but they're still talking, and they don't realize that they're still kind of sharing their screen, and you can see their cursor, and they actually for no reason just start circling around somebody else's face. While they're talking, and nobody mentions
Chill. I thought it was gonna be porn. That's so much worse. That is so much worse. Oh my god. Imagine being the person and being like, yo, why are they circling my head?
Just watching this cursor going round their face.
Ah yes,
Oh,
you're the prettiest.
you're my wife now.
Oh, that's so creepy. That's so much creepier than what I thought. I thought it was going to be like they brought it down, and it's like there's like a text, and there's like on Google Chrome in the top, it's like hard fisting or something. But like that's weird.
And I'm
Like,
also, and this is a fucking clincher for you, by the way. I've seen that happen 3 times
the same person.
with 2 different people.
What?
So one of them has done it twice, and another person I've seen do it once.
Cards
And
on
I
the
am
table. I've
and by the way,
never.
I'm going to stay for the record. I footer about with my cursor, and I actually circle everybody's faces while I'm
I'm
doing
just
it.
like.
So it's just so I was just so I'll go kind of around. So right now, for instance, I'm putting my cursor around your face, right? But I would do it to everybody because I'm kind of equal opportunities, kind of weirdo, right? And I would do that, but I'm so self-conscious about making sure that I'm not sharing my screen.
Here's the here is the only follow-up question. Did the person that was getting circled notice?
The person who's getting circled could see exactly what I could see.
Oh god.
Yeah.
That is I don't do that. I don't well again, whenever I'm in meetings, usually I'm taking minutes. So I'm just listening and typing and unless someone actually asks me a question or something relevant to what I'm doing comes up. But I work in a research institute. I don't fucking know anything about science. So except the very small avenue of science I've pursued academically, they are all like doctors and professors, so I don't know what they're on about most of the time.
Most of the time.
So I'm just taking notes, but like I can't. I actually am struggling to think of something worse than that.
My God, just brought me a cup of tea. Thank you, Morgan.
Hey! The
Now,
only thing I can think of. The only thing I can think of. I assume she left.
Thanks, Morgan.
Only thing I can think of that would be worse than that is if someone had typed out a really weird chat message but hadn't sent it. So like when they bring their screen down, you can see that it's been typed in there, but and it's like and it's to somebody privately. Like that makes it so much worse. Like something really weird and to one person, but they haven't sent it yet.
Oh, do you know, I've actually been in a situation where I've been back and forth with somebody in a team meeting, and they're presenting, and we've been maybe not necessarily bitching, but we've been making what could be considered controversial comments about some of the content of the meeting. And then there's been times when I've just been about to send a message and realised that if I hit send, it'll pop up in the bottom right hand corner, kind of going, what's this cunt going on about? I wouldn't ever be that explicit at a Teams call, but yeah,
something in that vein. Do you know what I used to do?
About to hit end and thought, fuck no.
Yeah, I've done that. I've had that before. Loads of meetings where people are like, they'll send you like, oh, you know, blah blah blah, and they'll accidentally send it to everyone, and usually it's fine because it's something like, oh, the audio's not coming through for me or something like that, and you're like, okay, hold on, let me have a look at this, because usually in like general meetings and stuff, I'm the dude that's like trying to make sure that people can hear and stuff, because we have hybrid meetings now where people are online, people are offline, and whatever. But but yeah, the what I would always do was, me and my line manager, my old line manager, I'm a new line manager too, but me and my old line manager had like a very similar sense of humor, and like, but we would just text. We just text on our phones. That way, there's no chance nobody's.
I WhatsApp one of my work colleagues. Again, I won't name names. It's very difficult not to name names because I'm thinking I want to name names.
I want everyone to know.
I WhatsApp one of my work colleagues who I'm a Facebook friend with sometimes about other work colleagues I'm also Facebook friends with. So I'm definitely, you know, I'm walking. I'm on a you know, basically.
What you've just given there is a mystery. Like if they really wanted to and they found this, they could probably follow the trail and figure out who was talking about who.
It's like, do you remember those kind of old logic tests that you used to get, and it would say stuff like Darren has a red door but has a blue car, and then you can communicate. So, yeah, it's Darren I'm talking about.
Daza circles the face. Daza circles the face.
Daza the face circler.
God, that's so creepy.
The only thing worse than kind of circling would be if it was just kind of rapidly kind of slapping against the face.
Just across the throat.
Yeah.
Back and forth across the throat. Or do you know? No. Do you know what's weird? Do you know what's way weirder? Slowly stroking up and down, like from the tip of their nose to the top of their head. I'm doing it to myself on this chat right as I'm holding still. Just slowly, or even just across their lips and back.
Just actually, see, now that you've said that, imagine. Just, would that be worse if you were like presenting, somebody's doing that, and you spend the whole time circling your own face?
I don't know. I don't think it's worse. It's still weird, but it's way weirder if you do it to somebody else. The thing is, right? I want to ask. We know based on your slip up the gender of the person, right? Like, you don't have to answer this. What's the person they're circling of the gender that they're attracted to?
Yes.
Oh, that's
yes.
Yep, that's an HR meeting. Because right, here's the thing. All of the meetings in my work are recorded for the purposes of me doing minutes. I watch all of them back, right? I watch all of the whole thing from start to finish. Obviously, I'll skip the first 10 minutes where people are just like coming to the meeting, but I will, because I need to listen and I need to hear points. So I need to listen to the whole thing. And I'll watch it if I'm doing that. And if I saw that in a meeting, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Would you include it in the minutes?
At this point, Darren slowly circles Delta's face for a very Irish name there. Betraying my upbringing.
Betraying my upbringing.
I don't know. I think I've met Delta since I left.
Your mum after went, Chris, you betrayed your upbringing today.
No, I don't know. I don't think I've met a Delta since I left Ireland. Actually, is there Deltas in Scotland? It must be Delphins.
Yeah, there's I'm aware of the name.
Ah, okay.
I don't know if it's for reading fucking Roddy Doyle. Yeah.
Well, unless you can read Irish, you probably wouldn't pronounce it.
Exactly. No, that's a fair point. Right. Anyway, 52 minutes in. Let's start.
Let's get a solid 8 minutes. 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Right, let's go. Let's hit it hard, John. Let's
find out if you're about to get executed or not. They're actually worried. They're actually worried that this is about to end, and I needed to basically bulk this hour-long episode up with 52 minutes of preamble before you get fucking executed.
How about this? I will try and die in the next 8 minutes. Go. Let's go.
Let's do it. Don't try and die, because I'm enjoying this question.
Yeah, I really like. This is my favorite one so far. Actually, I really don't want to die.
Your favourite one so far, even though we've done absolutely no gameplay as of yet. So anyway, you explain that you're from another planet, therefore know nothing about their curfew laws, and then they slap you in Zarflax. Was it Zarflax? I can't even remember.
I think it's Starflags. It doesn't matter.
Zarflax, bro. It's illegal to be outside after curfew, says the leader. The penalty is extermination. Enter this vehicle. Why the fuck would you? That's like saying come into the rape van, really.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you ever in Tenacious D, the pick of destiny? It's like they steal the pick from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame museum. Spoilers from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame museum, and the guy that puts them up to it standing outside with a knife, but he's got like a bum leg and he can't walk, and he's like, "Come over here so I can stab you." And he's like, "Go what? No, we're not going to go over there." And he's like, "What?" And he just turned around and started walking away. And he's like, "No, come back here."
So you get a choice of entering the vehicle.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Throwing your phasers and fire. Again, I don't know if you're allowed to use the word phasers, but they do.
I want to get in the vehicle.
To comply by their wishes and take them by surprise.
Okay, it's between getting in the car and taking them by surprise, but we've got Gork with us, don't we? Strong Gork.
Gork and Dr. Springfinger.
Strong Gork, who again still in my head is an orc. I can't fix that. So that's my head canon is the world that we are from was a fantasy world that then developed space travel. So we have space orcs. So Gork, the space orc, probably could take these dudes, but I also am aware that combat is the least exciting part of this, and I don't want 5 minutes of this to be combat. So let's get in the car.
Let's do it. Get in the car. You're a brave man. Get into the extermination car. Come over here while let's have you. As you enter the vehicle, it rocks from side to side. Your captors climb in and they start the hover engines, swinging the car around the way it came.
Love that they have hover technology, yet they're still just murdering people in the street.
You travel for half an hour or so and finally stop outside a large round building. Other similar cars have stopped there as well, and numerous aliens have been led into the building. You're taken inside and put into a room which is evidently a cell of some kind, along with 4 aliens. They seem resigned to the fact that they're about to be exterminated as part of the population control program. You cannot understand why they're so unemotional about their impending death.
Come on, lads. It's like Saturday night at the Wailing Wall in here.
One of the uniformed creatures calls for your party. You've got to act quickly. You're going to try and fight your way out, try and contact the ship, or arrange to speak to someone in authority.
Arrange to speak to someone in authority. Take me to your leader.
Let's do it.
I don't even. Can we scrub that from the record? Take me to your leader.
Your leader. No, it's there. I employ a guy to write the minutes of this.
The stenographers at the side.
Exactly. He's dead excited, and he said John proceeded to circle his cursor around Chris's face for 20 minutes while I was talking. I'm doing it right now. Anyway, you make your request, but the alien merely shoves you forward. "This is not possible," it replies. "You're to be taken to the extermination chamber." You may
wait. The logistics of this don't make sense to me. So previously, we're on the road, and the guy's like, "Get in, because they're gonna kill you. They're gonna kill you on the streets like a dog." And then they catch me, and they're like, "Get in the car. We want to kill you in a house like a dog." Why didn't they just shoot me at the side of the road? Why are they bothering taking up? Presumably, since they're all immortal, overcrowded prisons. Why didn't they just kill me? Why all this? A Jew? There's too much going on here.
I don't know. We'll find out together. I'm worried that you're going to die.
I'm also worried I'm going to die. If Tarkin dies, that's it.
You've basically get the chance to overpower them when you're alone, or or follow it and see what happens to you next?
There's got to be a point when I put my foot down. So I guess I'll fight now. Fuck it.
I think that might not be a bad idea. I'm starting to really worry that if you don't fight now, you're just going to end up getting taken in an extermination chamber and killed.
Yeah. Oh damn! I really thought there would be some path here. Maybe some sort of lock I could jiggle inside the extermination chamber. No, let's just fight. Fuck it. Why not? Is it just me or is Gork and is it Rusty Johnson with me or Dr. Springfinger? Dr. Springfinger. Dr. Springfinger, get us out of here with your loaded spring fingers.
So we're doing this?
Yeah, we're doing this. Get Dr. Pringle Springfinger in here.
As you follow the armoured guard through the long tunnel, you seize the opportunity and spring. The creature's extremely strong, but your numbers may give you the upper hand. Hand-to-hand combat.
Tarkin, octogenarian Tarkin, ready to throw down with Aikido.
So basically, you're just doing the old skill scores, alien attack strength. He's got a skill of 11 and a stamina of 14.
Fuck, that's a tall order.
Yep.
I might have fucked this up.
I don't know.
I shouldn't. You know, as soon as alarm bells should have started the ring when they said extermination chamber.
I know. Now you're just at this point. You're kind of going, "Oh, a wee bit worried about this now." Right. So basically, Gork has a skill of 12. Dr. Springfinger has a skill of 12, and Captain Tarkin's got a skill of 11.
And there's only one of them.
And there's only one of them. So
get Gork in there. Gork's got this. You got this.
You get an advantage of 1. So this has been the closest fight you've had, possibly in all 3 seasons.
Yeah. Apart from that time, I fought Gravity back in season 1.
And season 1, that's true. Yeah, that was. But, so anyway, first armored guard.
Yeah, you go ahead. You go ahead and roll those. I'm gonna say what I think is happening from my perspective. You see, Mork came with us last time. You keep rolling. Mork came with us last time.
You just got a hit in. You just got a hit in, so the stamina's down to 12.
That's Gork. That's just Gork taking her jacket off. She clocks him. She gets her. She reveals the network of tattoos across her orchestrine skin as they depict the end of the world in Orcish mythology, not mythology, Orcish religion. Details the tenets and the desire to rage through the Blade Forest for the rest of eternity.
You're getting beaten up, by the way. You've been hit twice with a hit once.
She let them have those 2 teeth. She cracks her knuckles. You know, sometimes you need a shot to the face to really get the blood pumping, like Ashley Williams.
Gork's been hit 3 times now. The armored guard's been hit once.
Fucking hell. Okay, Gork's getting her clock cleaned. Fucking hell. Right, so Mork's sitting in the ship, nursing his wounds from the last planet, being like, "It wasn't just me."
Oh, holy shit! Hell. Yeah,
are we actually about to lose a fight?
Well, it's a bit evens.
Oh my god, Gork! No, we need to protect Gork at all costs. Are we allowed to tag out at any point? Can I send Onion in here? We don't even have Onion with us. Onion the dog.
Lost 10 stamina points, by the way, so far.
Out of 18. Oh my god.
18. But, so you're both down to 8 stamina points each.
This is actually close. This is the first time it's ever been close.
Like, by the way, you're getting beaten up here. Gork's now down to 6 stamina.
Gork, after a big jump like that, now she's just looking back at me like a wee girl that's lost in the cinema. It's like, where's my mummy and daddy?
It is very close. You're both down to 6 stamina points.
Oh my god!
But I mean,
Gork's gonna have to earn a medal for this one.
For the first time ever, their stamina's lower than yours.
Oh, thank Christ! Oh my god, this is actually. I'm feeling a little bit of tension.
There we go. You're both down. You're both down. You're both down to 4 stamina points.
Gork.
2 more hits. 2 more hits.
Gork. 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 Gork.
Gork's down to 2 stamina points. Gork's
Are we about to have our first character death?
You're about to be your first character death, I think.
Oh no, not Gork. Gork was supposed to be the best of us. Gork has the strongest attack
You just
stats.
rolled a double 6.
Wait, Gork
You're down
did?
to 2 stamina points as well. You just rolled a double 6.
Yes,
So
Gork.
this is pretty much whoever wins this wins this. We're down to 2 stamina points apiece.
Gork's down to the senorita pistols in her boots now.
They've got 8 and Gork's dead. Gork's fucking dead.
Ave Maria. Oh my god, Gork.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we hardly knew you. I'm writing RIP on my sheet. I'm crossing Gork out.
Finger next.
No, yeah, I guess. Gork's dead. Springfinger has 20 stamina.
Gork's dead. Dr. Springfinger walks in and then the first goal goes fuck you and kills them.
Just straight in one punch.
I feel Dr. Springfinger. Gork's dying words were, I pretty much set that up for you, mate.
Yeah. Oh my god. So wait, so what are these things armed with? They got guns? Hand-to-hand combat, you said. So Gork, who in my mind is a massive orc with 12 skill, which by the way is the highest that skill can get in this game. And she just got beaten to death by an alien on like our 3rd planet.
Yep.
Fuck. We can replace them though, but they're like permanently -2.
Gork. We can replace Gork and they're -2. You head for the center of the complex, dodging around the corridors to avoid creatures. You try the communicator several times to reach the ship, but something is jamming the signal. You pass one room in which the walls are covered with electronic equipment. Perhaps this is a transmission room transmitting a signal which is blocking your own signal to the ship. 2 aliens sit inside. Your attempts to contact the ship and your communicator have turned them into statues. What?
I'm sorry, did you just turn over 2 pages at once?
2 aliens sit inside, but your attempt to contact the ship on your communicator have turned them into statues.
All right.
Maybe I am having a stroke.
Let's turn them into statues.
Entering the room, you play with the controls until eventually a signal comes back through your communicator for the ship. You give the order to beam up straight away. It will take several seconds to fix in your exact coordinates. And while you wait, you remove one of the aliens' helmets. Inside the helmet and the creature's head is a massive electronic circuitry. So there were androids in your attempts to contact the ship with their heads. You keep the helmet for investigation of the ship, and moments later the transmitter beam locks on and takes you up. But just 2 of you.
Gork dying wasn't even the weirdest thing that happened there.
Yep.
What the fuck?
I know. Leaving orbit, you scan space ahead of you. There's a planet ahead some 3 to 6 light years away, which may support life. You enter warp speed and head towards it. The electronics lab reports that the helmet you brought back was indeed an advanced piece of work. With a few adjustments, you'll be able to prepare it so that if you wear it, you can increase your skill by 1 point.
Oh, give that to Mork. That way he's as strong as Gork. He is now in Gork's shoes. God damn, Mork and Gork. And Gork was already dead.
So who's Mork's replacement?
Bjork.
Good call.
Also an orc.
And they have a stamina 10 and a stamina 16.
Oh my god. I can't believe. Or literally the best of us, the best fighter in our team died. On the
so we can put Mork's stamina back up to 13 now.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because Dr. Springfinger's done some fine work. So basically, it will undoubtedly be useful. So there you go.
This is. We need to have a proper funeral. We need to recover the body. I presume we recovered the body.
No, body's still lying there.
This is
Well, you
horrendous.
could probably beam Mark up now on account of the fact that the transmission's been stopped. You can beam Mark up now.
Gork, we're being Gork up.
Or,
don't you dare get the name wrong. She was the best of us.
Keep my security guard's name out your fucking mouth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fucking hell! I can't believe this. This is a tragedy. A tragedy has befallen mankind.
You beam Gork back up and then proceed to fire Gork out into space.
Yeah,
into the sun or something.
No, we'll do it in the style of Red Dwarf. We'll cook her up, in the incinerator. We'll get her ashes, and we will commit her ashes to the stars that she loved so much. I'll see you later, alligator. In a wild crocodile. We definitely can't license that. Unless that's old enough that. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because I was watching, they briefly had Red Dwarf on Netflix, and I have permanently my whole life, not my whole life, that's a horrible exaggeration, but ever since I was able to download all of Red Dwarf, I've had all of Red Dwarf on like a hard drive.
All right.
It was sitting on Netflix, and I was like, oh, and I stuck it on, and I watched the first episode, and they changed the "see you later, alligator" whenever your man, the original navigation officer, like, is fired out into space. They changed it to.
I remember the scene, but I don't.
Yeah.
What did they change the music?
Changed it to "Here we go, here we go, here we go."
Really?
Yeah, that's what they changed it to, and it was like, I don't know.
Is that it's on the DVD? It's still "See You Later, Alligator," isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I just guess Netflix couldn't get a license for that.
Bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird that what slips the net. They couldn't for Still Game either, because the final song in Still Game was "Don't Think Twice, It's All Right" by Bob Dylan, and they had a song that actually sounds quite a lot like it, like an instrumental song on the Netflix one. But I watched it on Netflix first, so whenever I heard the original with Bob Dylan, I was like, "Oh, this sounds weird." But to be fair, it must be pretty expensive trying to license a Bob Dylan track.
Yeah, no, I'd imagine. Although, if you've ever watched Mr. Mercedes,
nope.
They changed the theme tune for every season, and the season 3 theme tune is "A Series of Dreams" by Bob Dylan, which is arguably one of his best songs, in my opinion.
I think "Don't Think Twice, It's All Right," coincidentally, was my favorite. Still is my favorite Bob Dylan track.
My favorite Bob Dylan track is the really racist one that he does. No, I don't.
Does he have a really racist one?
I'm only joking. I don't know why I said that.
That man won a Nobel Prize for literature.
The Nobel Prize for racist songs. He doesn't have a racist song. In fact, I'd suggest that if you listen to some lyrics of Bob Dylan songs, he's very much into equality and.
Yeah, he was part of the counterculture movement of the 60s, where they were trying to oppose segregation.
Just out the blue, he did a cover of "Camp Down Races."
Do you know, a lot of old, really old, big band music, like Sinatra and stuff like that, there's a lot of wee racist stuff in those every now and again.
Wee cheeky, sneaky racist bit.
Cheeky racist stuff.
We should get to a cliffhanger.
Oh, was Gork dying not enough of a bombshell?
Do you think Gork dying's enough of a cliffhanger?
I think Gork dying might be enough of a cliffhanger. I think we're going to have to let that stew for a little while. I don't even want to look at planets right now.
I'll just read the next bit out and then just tell you what's going to happen next. And it's not really a cliffhanger per se. This is a post-credit sequence.
It's what Gork would have wanted.
Gork would have wanted. So basically, you fire Gork out into space. Gork accidentally gets caught up in the gravitational pull of a planet and just gets fucked right into another planet. Oh, for God's sake, when you didn't get Gork. No, I'm not joking. I don't know. You're approaching a medium-sized blue-green planet and you take up an orbiting position. You scan the planet and reveal there's several clusters of intelligent life forms. You try to contact them and nothing comes up on the radio. The radio. There you go. This is. Do you and you've got the choice of beaming down to investigate or leaving orbit and continuing onwards. So we'll leave it at that. It's not really a cliffhanger because we know you'll probably beam down. So
We'll be really bored. Imagine we skipped every planet. That would be an interesting.
Imagine if you skipped every planet and made it back, and that was the key. That was the key to winning. Was just don't go down to planets. You're trying to get home. What good?
The message, the moral of this story is curiosity killed the cat. But that would be. Do you know what we should? If we ever get another book like this, or even a deleted scene, a deleted episode for this book, would be interesting if we just ignored every planet and just see what happens if you ignore everything.
We should actually, do you know, after we've done this, we should just do a special episode where we just get a couple of drinks in and we actually just do some hardcore playing and just avoid every planet and see what happens.
Do you know, there's a video game where that is the answer. And it's one of the Far Cries. I think it's Far Cry. It's either 2 or 3. And at the start
just keep it out of trouble. That's the key.
Oh, well, pretty much. So the start of the game is you're trying to get into this country, and you're getting like searched at the start, and they're like, they put you in this room, and they're like, look, stay here. We need to check your details, and we'll be back in a minute. And they leave, and you're like, fuck. And the game's like, escape, and you're like, oh fuck. And you escape, and then if you escape, it starts the game, and then you have this big game. However, if you leave it, I think at like 6 minutes or something, if you just wait in that room for 6 minutes and don't follow the prompts to break out, the guy comes back, he checks your details, and he lets you in, and that's it. That's the end of the game. It literally runs the end of it.
Brilliant.
It's fucking amazing. Like, I love that as an idea.
Yeah, I spent 60 quid on this game.
I didn't even get any of the achievements.
I spent 60 quid in this game, and I fucking won it.
6 minutes, speed run.
6 minutes. That's the key to Silent Hill as well. At the beginning of Silent Hill, when you're in the crash and then you realise that your kid's gone missing, you just go, didn't really like him that much anyway, get in the car and leave.
I just drive over the bridge. Although the problem in Silent Hill, much like that film, what the fuck was that film called? This is a tangent after we've already concluded, but I really should be going actually because I'm supposed to have a bath mat coming, but it's a double order. I've already got a bath mat, which arrived yesterday, and another bath mat's arriving today.
Bath mat.
So I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
That's a whole episode talking about that.
But what's the film where the fella works? It's an old one, and he works and is he a funeral guy and he has this like guy that I'm not gonna get a sense of this because the end of the film, well, there's loads of stuff that happens in the film, like he falls in love with this woman and everyone believes he's like castrated, but he's not. But she realizes that he is, and she's kind of into it for whatever reason. He's like, oh, awesome, maybe I will get castrated. And things go horribly for him. The plot line's really, really dark. It involves a lot of sexual assault. Anyway, the conclusion of his story is that he goes and he's like, I'm leaving, and he drives to the edge of the city, and in a scene that's never really explained, he gets to the edge of the city, goes through the tunnel, and there's just nothing. Like Silent Hill, there's just nothing. And he gets out of his car and goes, I knew it. The rest of the world isn't real, and he loads 2 dum-dum rounds into his revolver to kill his mate and himself. I can't fucking remember
I don't know that film.
Oh, I need to. I'll get you the title. I mean, I've already spoiled the ending, but
exactly, that's absolutely.
But it just comes out of nowhere. It's like, I knew it. The rest of the world doesn't exist, and then kills himself.
I have started reading an interesting comic book series though called The Nice House on the Lake.
Oh, is it good? I haven't read it.
I wouldn't.
Oh, is it in a similar vein to that, where the rest of the world doesn't exist?
It's quite cool. It's quite cool, is all I'll say. I think there's been 6 issues so far.
I need to give that a look. I still need to read Starstruck. I've been meaning to read that for ages. You gave me a link for that ages ago. I need to have a look at it.
I've been reading too much lately. That's why my eyes don't go me.
Yes, reading
so much. To bring it right back to the beginning again. There we go. On that note, so you are you not available next week? Full circle.
Yeah.
Or is it Wednesday that you're GMing?
Oh no, it's Wednesday. So I usually play Dungeons and Dragons on a Wednesday anyway. This would just mean instead of playing Dungeons and Dragons on a Wednesday, I'd be running Dungeons and Dragons on a Wednesday.
Is this going to have an impact in your ability to do this since you're like having less and less time to actually?
Not even slightly. It should be fine.
Cool. Glad to hear it.
I've GM'd for enough years that I can, even if I haven't planned, I can usually improvise something.
Excellent. I just I don't want to stress you out. On that note, we'll finish up now. We'll need to arrange to get another bevy soon as well. So we'll
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Right, we can talk about that offline. Nobody needs to hear that. Right, anyway, I'm gonna let you all go now. Thanks for watching Titan 10 at Warp 10. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.